Podcast City Network.
This is Final Score, your number one podcast for sports news. Here are your hosts, Chris and Kevin.
Hey guys, welcome to Final Score, episode 76, and it's been a lot of craziness this past week or so for Final Score. Sadly, Kevin Wathen had to step down permanently. He apparently is now training for a crazy 500-plus mile trek that he'll be taking. That will start taking place in June of 2021. If you know Kevin, that guy is a madman and he will do it, and I'm sure he'll probably break it in record time, but sadly it's taken him away from Final Score. But fear not, because I have found someone to fill in beautifully, because who knows Final Score better than this guy when you're coming from the outside. I welcome Jorge DeMoya to the show. Thank you so much for filling in, bud, and how you doing today?
Doing great, Chris. I'm freaking thrilled to be a part of this. I am thrilled to be back as the co-host here with you, filling in. Let me tell you, this is just phenomenal stuff, man. I'm so stoked. I'm completely stoked. As you can see, I made sure to come in my best dressed whatsoever. I look fantastic.
You do.
The beard looks great. I mean, I'm here with my popcorn, my movie references, and my sports knowledge. I'm ready to go.
I was gonna say, you're looking a little wider than normal. Legs are looking a little shorter. Oh wait, that's a logo. Producers telling me this is a logo. Okay, so I was wondering what was going on. I was like, maybe he took a little off the top. I don't know. But it's why we're starting a little late today. You gotta love the technical difficulties. We're hoping to show George in all of his glorious and beautiful splendor, but technology happens sometimes. So
technology happens, but you know what? It's all good. I am your now resident couch dad. I am here with the movie references, with the sports knowledge, a little bit of hockey trivia in there, because you know what? I just can't help my damn self. And I am stoked to get started, and working with you boys again is just a great work, man. Are you kidding me? I would not want to be anywhere but here on Final Score with you boys.
Oh, man, we definitely appreciate it to the max, especially with everything going on. It's definitely been crazy. But, hey, we got to keep this geriatric show ongoing. So we're going to go ahead and hit it off the top. But before we do, you got to make sure that you follow all things Final Score by following us on social media at PCN Final Score. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. Go on all of those. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Invite your friends. Share with your friends. Show your grandma even. She might like it. Who knows? You never know until you try. But definitely make sure to go check us out and follow us at PCN Final Score. And also a little bit of a, I don't know if it's really an announcement. We kind of announced it last week, but now I actually have a slide for it. That's right. The PCN shop is now open. You can go to podcastcity.net/shop and get all the latest apparel and gear. And I tell you what, there's a lot of great stuff on there. So if you haven't had a chance to go and check it out yet, please do so. We got everything you need, whether it's a neck gaiter to protect you from COVID-19, a mug for your morning coffee, or a t-shirt just to look cool. We got you covered. So go check it out. podcastcity.net/shop. I tell you what, a lot of great stuff on there. And you can even get some Final Score gear on there. So definitely check it out. Man, but we're going to jump right in.
That looks good. I can't wait to get myself in. I'm just rocking the hoodie and the Final Score hat, and I even got the socks. I'm wait, I can't see me.
Loving it. That's right. Listen to George. He knows. No. But anyways, we're going to jump right in though. And we got some football to talk about. First Thursday night football, the Bears taking down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20-19. This game was going to look like a snoozer to start with. Bucs went up 13-0 early, but Nick Foles just has Tom Brady's number, and I think Tom Brady forgot to count a little.
Yeah, what it's a third.
4/3.
You know what? I was wondering if that had anything to do with his old age. I mean,
It could,
maybe some Gino Galoba pills would have been very helpful in his morning regimen, a part of the TB12.
Oh my God.
Like just get a boost, man. Just get a boost to that or something. I don't know. You know what I'm seeing though? I am seeing a Bears defense that is resilient.
Yes.
All right.
Very much.
And I throw that word around because I had been hearing it all weekend. But it's because they didn't care, man. Tampa Bay comes down, they march down the field, they score, no problem. Khalil Mack just kept on coming. To the point where he was in Brady's kitchen. He was cooking them pancakes, and Brady was like, "No, man, I wanted banana nut, not chocolate chip," because he's rolling his eyes every time he looks up. He sees Khalil Mack right there in his face.
Oh yeah,
that had to be the #1 GIF I've seen in my like chats. Was just Tom Brady rolling his eyes that Khalil Mack is there again in his kitchen.
That's absolutely
dude,
crazy.
The guy, it was too much.
Just
Tom Brady thought he came over. He thought he came over to Tampa Bay to the Sunshine State, and it was going to be smooth sailing. But guess what? It's not. He's facing a little bit of adversity, and that can either be dangerous or it can squash him later on in the season. We'll see.
Yeah, it definitely can. And Khalil Mack accounting for 2 of the 3 sacks by Chicago. Absolutely insane. He even had a pass deflection. Dude was just all over the place, and you just couldn't stop that defense. Good thing I started them in fantasy. But either way, though, it was crazy. We came down to the line. Chicago drove down. Nick Foles at the helm, was able to get that field goal, left a lot of time on the clock for Brady to do what Brady does, and Brady just forgot how to count. And it just blows my mind. Like, how do you forget what down it is? Like the NFL, you have earpieces and stuff mic'd into your helmet and all this kind of stuff. They don't even have that in college, and you somehow still forget what down it is. But mental errors, I guess. Mental errors. Can't expect him to be 100 all the time.
No, exactly. Come on, man. He didn't take his Gino Coloba pill. I'm telling you, that's exactly what it was.
Yes, but Tom Brady still was. For the guy. I do too, but he still turned in a decent performance. 25 of 41, 253, 1 touchdown. Didn't look stellar, but didn't look horrible. A little bit better than his counterpart Nick Foles, who actually was 30 of 42. A little bit better completion percentage, only threw for 243 yards, had a touchdown and a pick, and both men being sacked 3 times in this. So. It was definitely not the easiest game for quarterbacks, honestly.
No, it wasn't, but each one of them had over 40 attempts. And when you see a game where each quarterback has over 40 attempts and it's a 20-19 game, it meant that, sure, you're marching down the field, but you are not converting when it matters. Exactly. I mean, I'm sure if we pull them up on the 3rd down conversions or 4th down conversions that we know Brady messed up on one of them, but even for Nick Foles, he was streaky on some drives, and then he was missing the receivers by 5 yards on another. So, it was a little bit of a sloppy game, man. I felt like it was a sloppy game.
I have to agree, especially when you start looking at the stat lines, and Chicago was held to only 35 yards rushing the entire game. David Montgomery was 10 carries, 29 yards, and a touchdown, but really, that was the only bright spot of rushing there was for Chicago, and they somehow still gutted out this game. But you look at the other side, though, Ronald Jones went out there and had a decent little game, 17 carries, 106 yards, was the featured back. Fournette was not playing this week, and, of course, they had Keshawn Barnard out. So it was interesting to see how much more the Tampa offense could produce, but they just weren't able to pull away with the win. So do you think this is going to be an issue going forward for Tampa Bay?
Absolutely. I really do think this is going to be a huge issue for them moving forward, especially when you're talking about Tom Brady and Bruce Arians, who both are mental geniuses when it comes to their offensive scheme. And you're just like, you guys got to find a way to get on the same page here real quick.
Forward for Tampa Bay? Yeah, absolutely. So we'll definitely see how it ends up working out. I know Tampa, gosh, who do they even have next? It's been tumultuous this whole season right now with COVID and everything. But they have the Packers next, so definitely going to be a really big test to see how that works out. As long as nobody gets COVID, but, we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a moment. But you look at Tampa, they got to move on. They're 3-2, still currently leading their division. hoping to try and keep a stranglehold in that New Orleans doesn't try and pull even. If New Orleans wins today, they will end up having the NFC South lead. So it's going to be, I think it might end up coming down to the wire for the NFC South this year.
Oh, definitely. That's a tough division right there.
Mm-hmm.
No question about it.
Absolutely. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to shift gears over and take a look at the rest of football for today and for tomorrow. And believe it or not, the next day, because a lot of games are getting shifted around right now because of COVID. COVID has been just running rampant and causing all kinds of issues for teams. Even to the fact that we had breaking news this morning that the New England Patriots Denver Broncos game that was scheduled originally for this week is now being pushed back to next week. Melvin Gordon already coming out and saying that he's upset about it, given that they practiced all week. But hey, this is Corona, baby. This is how it works.
This is how it's going to be. I've been saying it for a while now. Your fantasy rosters, forget about them. Nothing will make sense whatsoever. To one particular league that I'm the commissioner of, you guys want those extra bench spots now or later? Because I told you, I said we should add a couple bench spots because there's going to be a few games postponed because of COVID. No, that gives you an advantage, and you're going to win the whole year. I never win. Okay, my wife wins.
Let's get this right.
You want those bench spots now? I mean, come on. And you're looking at this, and it's a shame about what's going on, especially when now you also have Ryan Tannehill coming out and saying publicly that he's lost faith in the COVID-19 testing that the NFL is doing.
Oof. And then you also had who was it for the Eagles that also came out and said they shouldn't even have played this season if they knew that it was going to turn out this way. So
yeah. So players are speaking out now, and they're upset, and they should be, because ultimately the NFL and even college football, they're doing something that maybe should not have been done, considering how well the NHL and the NBA and even Major League Baseball has gone. All right. Sure, Major League Baseball had its, original run where COVID hit them hard, but they kept fans out of the stadium. They kept staff small. And then they also ended up doing these bubbles now for the playoffs.
Yeah.
NBA had a bubble. NHL had a bubble. And NFL said, we don't need no stinking bubble.
Bubble? We don't need no stinking bubble. And that's what it sounded like. But now you have these players that literally are trying to make sense and look at these owners and look at all of the NFL brass and just be like,
gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Because this is a serious issue. We need to look at it from a wider angle and look at the overall picture. Like, yeah, it's great to want to get back to playing football. Yeah, everybody wants to get back to normal. And yeah, sure enough, everybody does need to make money. But at the end of the day, what is more important, life or money?
And let's not forget, there's just this little thing of the NFL is making money. They don't need to put 13,000 people in the stands and hire extra staff and not be in a bubble just for the hell of it. Oh, I don't know. How much is that Thursday night football deal with Amazon? 65 million? Oh, no, wait. That was last year. It's north of that because they didn't want to report it. Just for Thursday night football, the exclusive deal with Amazon Prime is over 65 million.
Oh man, and that's what I'm saying. It's absolutely crazy.
Get the hell out of here, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and they think that everybody's just gonna be, oh no, it's cool. Like the NFL needs that. No, the NFL doesn't need this. The NFL has plenty of money. These teams have plenty of money. Everything is, yes, it's not ideal, but at the end of the day, hey, we're in unprecedented times. We haven't had a pandemic in over 100 years. So why don't we kind of backtrack a little and take a more realistic approach to everything? Because it seems like
there's nothing wrong with taking a little backtrack, right? And just saying, you know what, no fans in the stadium. Let's do a few bubbles. Hell, you could do it pretty easily in terms of divisions for the NFL.
Easily.
Each division has a bubble city. And then when they do need to travel, they play the two games within themselves first. And then they play a couple road games, whatever.
That easy.
Fucking easy, man. Come on.
But the NFL's just like,
that is incorrect.
No bubbles, no nothing. Let's go full on like it's just all normal and everything will be okay, right? You think everything's going to be okay? NFL just thinks they're going to all that. No, they're really going to hear? Because at the end of the day, they've made some horrible decisions dealing with this whole pandemic. That's been absolutely atrocious. So it's ridiculous when you look at how this has been handled. And like you said, we saw the issues with baseball. NHL did one of the best jobs when it came to bubbling and keeping people safe. So look at these models. I don't know why the NFL hasn't taken the approach of looking at the other sports that are going on and how they're approaching the situation. But no, let's just fly by the seat of our pants and everything will be okay, right? Right? Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. It completely makes sense.
Oh, gosh, so ridiculous. But you know what? We're going to go ahead and do a quick run through. Some of these games are still kind of in threats of possibly having some issues. The Jets were able to dodge a bullet because they thought they had a COVID positive test. Turned out to be a false positive. So the Jets got very lucky this week. But like we said, with New England and Denver in their Monday night game, that game has been completely moved to next week to try and help with New England closing down all of their facilities today. So it's going to be so crazy. But we'll start from the top. We got the 2-2 Carolina Panthers traveling down to Mercedes-Benz Stadium to take on the 0-4 Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. 1 p.m. kickoff. This is going to be an interesting game. Teddy Bridgewater saying we can't sleep on the Falcons. Who do you got in this one?
This is one of those games where I think it's a trap game. You got 0-4 Atlanta, okay? They should not be 0-4. They have way too much talent to be 0-4. They just forget that they're playing football in the third and fourth quarter.
Right.
So, I mean, I actually want the Atlanta Falcons in this game. And as a matter of fact, if you have Teddy Bridgewater or if you have Russell Gage, start them.
Yes.
Julio Jones is likely out. Calvin Ridley is dealing with a bad hamstring issue. He had 0 catches last week. Very upsetting to my wife, who has Calvin Ridley in her fantasy football league. Not to mention, she also is at 1-3 with the second highest point total in the entire league. So she is pissed. All right. So those Falcons better show up. And she's probably going to put Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage in her starting lineup this week. But I do happen to say I like the Falcons in this trap game. Carolina better be careful.
Yeah, Carolina definitely needs to be careful. This is an absolute trap game to the max. However, you know, we're still dealing with the fact that Christian McCaffrey, where's he at? And that's something to kind of keep in mind going into this game is that
Mike Davis has stepped in very beautifully. He has stepped. He's not as explosive, but he's following his blocks. Mm-hmm. He's hitting the right holes, and he's keeping it simple.
Absolutely, he absolutely is. But again, he's still no Christian McCaffrey though. So hopefully, though, with how the Falcons have perfected throwing away games, I'm sure Panthers, as long as they come in and stick to their game plan, that they can come away with the W in this one. But still, don't count out Matty Ice and the Falcons. So it's gonna be an interesting game down there. Our next game, though, the 2-2 Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Kansas City to take on the undefeated Chiefs. 1 p.m. game on CBS. I know we have our friend Jimmy Labar, who's already in the comments commenting, huge Raiders fan that he is. But this is going to be interesting. The Raiders are looking like a more complete team this year so far. Obviously, they haven't been able to win all their games, but they've been able to win some interesting ones, especially against the Saints, which I thought was pretty impactful and a good direction to go for the Raiders to be able to get that win. So do the Raiders have a legit shot against the Chiefs?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, and if this rookie running back for the Chiefs does not get going, he has not scored a touchdown since week 1 in one of the highest scoring offenses. Mm-hmm. Same with Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins has disappeared since week 1 as well. If those two playmakers don't get going for the Chiefs, Mahomes is going to have to do it himself, mm-hmm. which he is definitely capable of.
He is.
There's no question about that. But the Raiders do have a legit shot at competing here. John Gruden is smart. He will try to keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands, mm-hmm. and really take time on his drives with Carr and Jacobs. this is a trap game for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mhm.
They're 4-0. They're going, they got the Vegas Raiders coming into town. They're 2-2. They're not great, but they're showing promise.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they've played some good games. If Kansas City doesn't get a big play from a playmaker, they could definitely lose this game by a field goal.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to pick the Raiders because there's a
Ooh.
fan who is a Raiders fan. One of my buddies is also a Raiders fan. And you know what? So far, I'm 2-2 on picking the Raiders. So that's 50-50.
You know what? Looking at this game, I have to absolutely agree. This is a trap game for the Chiefs to the max, especially against a division rival, really. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. They're not going to be in Allegiant Stadium. This is going to be at Arrowhead. So for whatever that's worth, we would say, hell yeah, fans are going to matter. But anyways, no, I think Vegas definitely has a good shot in this. Gruden's going to try and come in with a good game plan. Obviously, you want to try and contain Mahomes as much as possible. Edwards-Helaire there in the backfield has been playing out of his mind. A really great player. But like you said, he hasn't scored since week 1. So that could tip the scales here. And the Chiefs have allowed themselves to be vulnerable at times this season. And that's one thing I think I noticed this season over last season. Last season, of course, was kind of crazy. You had Mahomes end up going down with his injury and everything like that. But this year, though, it seems like they got themselves into certain positions that they had to really gut it out or completely rely on Patrick Mahomes, i.e. the Chargers, to be able to pull out a win. And now you're going to be looking down the barrel of taking on another division rival that honestly I feel might be a little bit more dangerous. So I am actually going to pick the upset as well. Raiders are going to take down the Chiefs on a last-second field goal and move on to 3-2 and show that they are legitimate. So we'll definitely see how it works out, though, come 1 p.m. Our next game, though, we have the 2-2 Arizona Cardinals traveling to the 0-4 New York Jets, who are lucky to even be on the field this week in MetLife Stadium, 1 p.m. on Fox. I feel like this game is going to be, honestly, the Cardinals' game to lose. I think the Cardinals are going to take this and run. The Jets, horrible. Darnold, not the best. Defense weathered down. The only bright spot they have is Le'Veon Bell might be coming back. I think it's coming back this week, but I don't think it's going to be any kind of an impact, and the Cardinals are going to take this one easily. What do you think, George?
I'm with the Cardinals. No, there's no question about it. These New York Jets defense is soft. It's like Swiss cheese over there. I mean, there's so many holes on that Jets defense. It's disgusting, and I hate Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese is disgusting also. It's gross. Like, get it out of my kitchen. Kyle Murray, start him. If you're not already, start him. And the Jets, also start Crowder, because you know what? They got nothing else to do but throw the ball. So you might as well get some points in the process. I do see that there will be 2 0-5 teams at the end of this week. Only 2. There's quite a few 0-4 teams, but I'm calling it that there's only going to be 2 left.
Oof.
Which 2? We'll find out later. You kind of maybe already know. I picking Atlanta, but the Jets are definitely going to be one of them. The Jets are definitely going to be one of those 0-5 teams. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam Gase is just playing to keep his job, I feel like, at this point. So if he even walks out of there with a win, that's luck.
How has he not gotten fired yet? Please.
Yeah,
Please
right.
tell me, how has he not gotten fired yet?
Yeah.
Like, what is he doing?
It doesn't make sense to me. And maybe it's just they're kind of hoping for a prayer or something, maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's I always wondered about that. Like, do owners just set, or GM set like that mark, right? Like, oh, if you hit this many losses in a row, you're done. I don't know. But with the Jets, I feel like they should have got rid of Gase some time ago. But here we are. But yes, I have to agree. Jets 0-5. There's no way they're going to win this game whatsoever. They have nothing. It's an empty cupboard of garbage. Anyways, our next game, though, we have my Philadelphia Eagles at 1-2-1, and with the NFC East lead, traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers at 3-0. Don't forget that Pittsburgh had their one game that was postponed. This game will be 1 p.m. on Fox at Heinz Field. This game is interesting for a lot of different reasons. Eagles are starting to get some players back. However, Deshaun Jackson still will be out along with Alshon Jeffrey, so our top 2 receivers still out. But we are expected to be able to get Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson and a lot of important pieces back. Derek Barnett coming back as well. And
didn't you guys sign Jason McCrinkleberry
yes.
to wide receiver for the Eagles?
Yes, right. As reported on the FinalScore Facebook page.
Yeah, as reported on the FinalScore Facebook page. I mean, that's a signing right there. What a free agent signing that was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's huge.
Oh my gosh, you kill me, George.
Thank you,
But
Key and Peele, for that.
yes, thank you so much, Key and Peele.
Pittsburgh is also getting James Conner back, dude. I'm sorry to tell you, James Conner will also be back and a little bit healthier. That rookie receiver, Deontay Johnson, is a definite game breaker in the slot. He's not going to be matched up with one of the top Eagle corners. So I'm sorry to say, I like Pittsburgh in this game. Pittsburgh is going to be one of those teams that has a really good record throughout the entire season because they get to, play nobody for a while. And then all of a sudden they're going to fall apart and people are going to go, I guess they weren't that good.
Yeah, pretty much. And but the thing is, they have that potential, but I feel like a lot of their guys are young. Like, for instance, Chase Claypool, the former Notre Dame wide receiver, great receiver. Yeah, great AB replacement. Obviously, I love him. There's no, bias or anything. But at the end of the day, game changers, and that's the thing that they have that is really going to hurt the Eagles because they still are without cornerback Avonte Maddox as well. So our secondary is weak right now and susceptible to the pass. I'm even going to say this, but I think Pittsburgh is going to be able to take advantage of that and is going to be able to squeak this one out against the Eagles if I'm being realistic. And the Eagles are going to drop to 1-3-1, but it's okay. We'll roll from there on, maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe. We'll see.
As long as Carson Wentz doesn't throw 8 interceptions, we'll be okay.
Yeah. You gotta sign Nick Foles again.
Right? Oh my gosh. He only plays good in an Eagles uniform. I'm totally sold on that. Our next game, though, we have the LA Rams at 3-1 traveling to Landover and FedEx Field to take on the Washington football team. Yes, the total gimmickless team known as the Washington football team, who has benched Dwayne Haskins and will be turning everything over to the backup. I don't even remember the backup's name right now. All I know is Alex Smith is backing him up, and I'm more interested in that. So at the end of the day, though, Washington is a very depleted team. They have a lot of distractions between the name change, Ron Rivera's cancer, as well as just bad play on the field at quarterback. So it's very dismal right now. And the LA Rams, though, while they do have some distractions themselves with Jalen Ramsey, which we'll touch on later on in the show, LA Rams have been able to keep it rolling, are 3-1 and looking better than what a lot of people thought they were going to. So definitely going to be an interesting game. What do you think, George?
I'm going to have to agree. I do like the LA Rams in this game. I do see them winning this one over the Washington Football Club, because that's what they're called. They are the Washington Football Club forever and always. Team, really, get out of here. So it's going to be difficult when you have a football team playing against a soccer team. That's really what it comes down to. You just have, one really strong, tough as nails team going up against a soccer team. I mean, what do you expect? The Rams are solid. I think their defense is game-changing. Their defense can be game-changing. You got a heck of a D-line there that can disrupt, that can cause havoc, and I'm waiting for that emotional game from the Washington Football Club to come into play where they allow Alex Smith to start. And they get their second win of the season, which will be their last win of the season. But at least so they can get one, because that dude went through something. And he deserves it, the way he's fought back. When you have a team right now that is struggling, why not play him? Unless doctors are honestly worried in terms of medical and they don't want him, dealing with that just yet. Mm-hmm. But they did clear him, supposedly.
Exactly. So why would you clear him if you don't plan on him to play in some respect?
Right, exactly, in some respect. Maybe he's just not ready physically. He's cleared to play, but maybe he's not ready physically. Whatever the case may be, I hope he does get a start eventually. Mm-hmm. Maybe against an 0-5 team, but that way he could get the win. Not against the Rams. Don't put Alex Smith with Donald staring at him. His leg will start shaking.
All I have to say is that Jimmy LeBar is in our comment section on Facebook Live right now, absolutely killing me, just destroying what is left of Washington, saying he hopes they keep the name and that the team motto should be, "We are what we say we are." Oh, man. This so great. Oh, football team versus a bunch of Rams. It's a football game, not a petting zoo. See, this is great. This is the kind of banter I love. Anyways, Looking at it, though, it's Kyle Allen who will be starting today for Washington. Kyle Allen does not have a good track record in what action he has seen. Dwayne Haskins just as bad, in my opinion. But honestly, I could see them eventually turning to Alex Smith as soon as this game if things go bad for Kyle Allen early on. Now, I'm not saying that Washington's trying to actually win games at this point. They're 1-3. I think they kind of know they're in a rebuild, that this season could be very, sacrificial. But at the end of the day, they want to be able, I think, to still give their team a chance. And you could with having Alex Smith in there, because out of the 3 quarterbacks in that quarterback room, who has the best football IQ out of the 3 of them? It's going to be Alex Smith. So
Alex Smith, exactly.
He might be able to be manageable enough, especially if you get a right game plan for him, to be able to be successful. Will he be successful against the Rams in that defense? I wouldn't want to have Aaron Donald hitting him, but, at the end of the day, They're going to have to turn to whoever they need to be able to try and be competitive, because Alex Smith is going to go out there and just be like,
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Because he just don't care. So the dude has battled through everything. This is going to be nothing to him, I feel like. So,
I love that guy.
Oh, I love him so much, too. And I love that he's still there after like 20 years. But the Rams, though, are going to end up taking this one, I think, easily. Kyle Allen's going to end up throwing a couple of picks and looking horrid. You might see Alex Smith late, but it might be too little too late. And the Rams are going to take this one by a wide margin.
Definitely. Now let's move on over. I'm going to jump in on this one, buddy. And we got the Cincinnati Bengals at 1-2-1 at the Baltimore Ravens over at CBS MT Bank Stadium in Baltimore. This is a sneaky good matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I really do like the Cincinnati Bengals in this one. I have seen Joe Burrow. He is getting better and better with each game. And I think he says, I am here. I'm a man. I'm 19. I can't drink yet, but I
He's not 40?
Yeah, he's not 40. He definitely doesn't look it.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I couldn't help myself.
Exactly. He just couldn't help it. I set you up for that. I like Joe Burrow in this game, man. I really think he's going to say, you know what? I am the number 1 damn pick. I am that talented. He's got a couple running backs. Joe Mixon right now is being sold off like he's freaking garage sale property on every fantasy football site. Everyone's like, oh, trade him now. Trade him now. I don't think so. I don't think you trade Joe Mixon right now. I think the 1-2 punch of him and Burrow is proving to be a little bit successful. I think we get a high-scoring game here between Jackson and Burrow, and I think Burrow finds a way to pull it out.
Yeah, and the thing
I'm calling an upset.
Well, you got to look at the thing too, is that it does work in the Bengals' favor right now, because you've had Lamar Jackson, who's had issues this week and has had limited practice time because of illness and his knee. Tight end Mark Andrews has had a thigh issue. Marquise Brown, their star young wide receiver, also having a knee issue, and all 3 are listed as questionable right now. So obviously they're probably all going to play, but they're going to be banged up. They're not going to have a lot of practice time. If this was a time that the Bengals are going to come in and steal one from the Ravens, which they seem to steal one from one of their divisional rivals every single year anyways, this is the game to do it, and this is the team to do it against. And if the Bengals were able to pull this out, I think this would help Joe Burrow's confidence moving forward and help this franchise maybe start to right the ship a little. Because remember, it really wasn't that long ago the Bengals were looking 8-0, 9-0, 10-0, looking unbeatable with Andy Dalton. And now you actually have a legitimate quarterback in Joe Burrow with 2 good receivers. Dude, make it happen. Joe Mixon, while I still think, yes, is a good serviceable back, he's not going to be a game changer. But no matter what, he is enough to be able to take pressure off of Burrow and be able to open up opportunities for himself as well. So
he's if you look at the running backs in this league, he could be one of the smarter running backs in this league. He picks his spots. He takes his time. And what do you do when you have a game changer on the other sideline like Lamar Jackson? You take time off the clock. You tick away at that time. You do 20-minute damn drives. I mean, I don't think that's even possible, but you do it. Yeah. Could you imagine a 20-minute drive?
Oh, that'd be insane.
This isn't baseball.
Right.
But Mixon has a lot to offer. Nadir Paradis. Sorry if I butchered that, but I'm really apologize. In our comment section saying Mixon has a lot to offer. Definitely. He has a lot to offer. Hands down.
Oh, yeah. Good old Nader. Yeah. Coming in with Mixon. Nader, which is surprised to hear Nader say. Nader's a Colts fan. So,
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, but it's still going to be a very interesting game, and we'll definitely see how it works out. But I think this is the one that the Bengals could steal from the Ravens. But
Definitely.
But looking at our next game, though, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at 1-3, traveling to Houston to take on the 0-4 Texans. And Houston has been the team that has had to deal with a lot of adversity already through these first 4 weeks, having a brutal opening schedule, now firing Bill O'Brien, which we're going to touch more on that later. But it's just crazy to see how their first 4 weeks have really unfolded. However, I think this is the week. This is the week the Texans right the ship, because you're playing against Jacksonville. It's freaking Jackson. Their only wins against the Dolphins. Come on. It's Jacksonville. So if Houston can get things going, Houston doesn't have too many other things going on injury-wise or anything of that nature. Will Fuller is actually healthy for once. And it's great to see them at full strength. I think they're going to be able to go in to NRG Stadium and take this one. Sadly, I do think it's going to be close because, Minshew Mania. But still, Houston will take this one.
I'm gonna agree with you here. Houston is not one of my two teams that ends up at 0-5. They win. They beat Jacksonville. Minshew Mania does not exist. It came and left faster than Jeremy Lin and Linsanity. They'll make a documentary about it. It'll be filmed by a porn director with a really cool mustache, and it'll be over.
Oh my gosh, absolutely kills me.
Minshew Mania does not exist anymore. I do like Houston. Will Fuller is healthy, and Bill O'Brien is gone. These players are ecstatic. That dude was the cancer in that locker room. As general manager, equipment manager, head coach, whatever the hell he was, he needed to leave. He needed to be fired for the players to actually have some confidence.
Absolutely.
And now that he's gone, Will Fuller, Deshaun Watson, they are going to be big time players. That defense is going to step up. And I don't know what Yahoo has been smoking, but Yahoo has Gainer Minshew as a must start this week.
They know they play defense in Houston, right?
Right. Yeah. Start Gardner Minshew. Really? No. Shave the mustache. It's not November. Houston takes this one easily.
Yes. Now looking at our 405 game, we have the 1-3 Miami Dolphins traveling out to San Francisco and Levi Stadium to take on the 2-2 49ers. This is going to be our 405 game. This game is going to be interesting. San Francisco having lost to the Eagles. San Francisco really looking like a team in flux, but they are starting to get some of the receivers back, which should help, as well as Mostert, which could be a really big impact in the backfield. So, but Miami, has been that kind of team that's been kind of hanging around with a little bit of Fitz magic. So who knows? What do you think about this one, George?
I have to say this is a Dolphins team that is going to pull out with another win over the San Francisco 49ers.
Holy crap.
It's going to be upsets all over the place this week. Okay?
Just upsets.
All day, every day. It's all good. I think the Dolphins are going to give you a big taste of Matt Breida.
Oof.
Matt Breida is looking for a bit of a revenge game. Okay? He does not think he should have been let go of that San Francisco 49ers system. He felt good there with that nice rotation they had going on. And then they were like, you're nothing. He's going to come in. He's going to bust one for 76 yards on a touchdown run out of nowhere. It'll be his only carry of the game, and he'll get you plenty of fantasy points on one carry. But I do like the Dolphins here. They definitely are playing competitively. And that is what you get with Fitzmagic. You get a no die, no quit attitude. And the Niners are too beat up on the defensive side. And, Fitz is going to know exactly which one is a third stringer, and he is going to point them out like the kicker in the replacements and is going to say, that guy. That's who I'm kicking to.
Oh, yeah. There he is. But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how it plays out. I think Breida definitely will be on a revenge tour with this game. But San Fran, though, is powerful in a lot of ways, but not powerful enough, as the Dolphins are going to take this one. And I think this is going to be the upset of the week. And even though I don't feel like it's really that big of an upset, really, because the 49ers kind of playing like garbage with all the injuries and everything they have going on, I feel the Dolphins are going to be able to capitalize on what everything 49ers are going through right now to be able to pull this win right out of their Yahoo and be able to take this one home. Yeah, see, you got to take little stabs here and there.
This is definitely. Now, as we move on to the next game, this is one of the games of the week.
Yes, absolutely.
This is definitely one of the games of the week. You got the Indianapolis Colts at the Cleveland Browns. Both teams are 3-1. Let's revisit that. The Indianapolis Colts and the Cleveland Browns are 3-1.
And one of the better teams each in the league.
Okay. Now, why is that? It's because of two reasons. One, yes, COVID and defense.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Myles Garrett, especially for Cleveland, has been making such a huge impact in every backfield.
Absolutely.
It's been insane to see what they've been able to pull off.
Myles Garrett has been an absolute beast, and out of nowhere, the Indianapolis Colts look like the old Bears taking touchdown after touchdown to the house on defense. You know, they're putting up fantasy football numbers like an old Chicago Bears or Baltimore Ravens team with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. I mean, that's what it's doing right now. They're throwing it back.
Mm-hmm.
And who doesn't love a yelling, trash talking, obscene quarterback that won't curse other than Phillip Rivers? That is the most hysterical thing on the internet right now, is seeing it. Dang gummit. Hey, I'm going to put it right there where the sun don't shine. You can say some curse words, Phillip. It's okay, buddy.
It's okay. It's football, man.
But that is the most hysterical thing I've seen on the internet right now, and he's having fun doing it. He's having fun.
I wonder if when they went to replace Andrew Luck, we're like, who's really going to be that guy to fully replace him? It's like you go get Phillip Rivers because he has the same moral character on the field.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to find the exact replica of Andrew Luck, just a little bit older and not
and
injured.
With 9 kids.
And with 9 kids, yeah. Let's get that guy.
Oh, man. But who ends up taking this one, George?
I have to go with the Indianapolis Colts. And I really say that because it will be a pick 6 that is the game changer in this game. Baker Mayfield is going to try to do too much. He's not going to rely on Kareem Hunt because now Nick Chubb is also injured.
Oh.
So he's going to try to say, but I'm Baker Mayfield. I'm a man and I'm 40. It ain't going to happen, dude. You're not Joe Burrow.
I'm 40.
Do it again. It's the theme.
Oh, you got to love overtime.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
He's not going to be – he's going to think he's Joe Burrow. And Baker Mayfield is not Joe Burrow, man. Go cover the seats. It's going to rain, And
get your house ready,
Get your house ready because it's going to get invaded by a bunch of Colts, and they're going to take you to the house.
Oof. Well, sir, I have to say, looking at the Colts top to bottom, I know they have some injury issues here and there. They're having, a little bit of growth pain still with Phillip Rivers adjusting to the offense. And they are a good team. However, the Cleveland Browns are going to be able to take this game not by a thin margin, but I think it's going to be by a decent margin because that defense is too nasty. And with the offensive holds that they have right now across the O-line, they're going to be able to take full advantage of that. You're going to see Myles Garrett in that backfield trying to eat up Phillip Rivers' lunch day after day, play after play. And as Jimmy LeBar put it best, he's Phillip Crimea Rivers because that's all he's going to be doing in that backfield as he sees Myles Garrett in his face mask play after play. So I'm going to take Cleveland Browns by 10.
Ooh, by 10.
By 10.
Did you bet the money line on that too? Is that why you're going by 10?
No, this is COVID year. I ain't betting on nothing this year. I have no faith.
None whatsoever.
None.
I'm not betting on anything.
But
I'm not even gonna bet on the Tampa Bay Lightning winning the Stanley Cup right now.
No, last time I did that, they got swept in the first round. But at the end of the day, we have the 0-4 New York Giants traveling down to AT&T Stadium in Arlington to take on the 1-3 Dallas Cowboys. This will be our second 425 game. This one's going to be interesting. The Giants really don't have a lot at all going on. Saquon Barkley out for the year. They're looking very porous across their defense. Daniel Jones looking serviceable at best. It's a very down year for the Giants. Cowboys, though, have become the team to learn. I feel like they're the Falcons 2.0. Like, they come back and beat the team that gives it away to be able to become them. So the Cowboys now 1-3, having dropped close games in numerous fashions. However, I hate to say this, the Cowboys are going to win this, though. And it's because the Giants have no shot. So go ahead, George.
The Giants are as bad as the Jets. It's really bad in New York. I mean, come on. Can New York get a break right now?
Yeah,
like, can
right?
they got the Knicks. Now they have the 0-5 Giants, the 0-5 Jets.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I mean, when do you ever hear a New York fan saying they want to move to Jersey? Because that's what's going to happen now.
I mean, technically they play in Jersey anyways, right? So
yeah, technically, New York, whatever.
Whatever.
But let's talk about something for real. The Dallas Cowboys are 1-3, and they should not be. Ezekiel Elliott is still a workhorse back there and a game breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Dak Prescott is getting better. He is solid. They have just found ways to lose games. Call it sometimes a little bit of unlucky management. They had some bad time management, made a couple bad coaching decisions in terms of their game script towards the end of a game. They've had a couple bad lucks, but you know what? They're going to right the ship. They are not a bad 1-3 team. No. They are a good 1-3 team, and they are still my pick. Sorry, buddy, but they are still my pick to win their division.
Oof.
At 1-3 right now.
Oof. You hurt me deeply there. You hurt me deeply.
I know, I hurt you deeply. I mean, it's a stretch. It's a huge stretch considering how far the Eagles are in the standings compared to the Dallas Cowboys. Can we talk about that division real quick?
Oh, just how literally it's going to be the team that's able to back themselves into the championship.
Yeah, it's good. It is. I don't understand it one bit. I mean, I know there's competitive divisions that have come out and division champions been 7-9
mm-hmm.
or 8-8.
How about a 5 or 6 win NFC East champion?
Yes. I was gonna say there's gonna be like a 6-10 division champion this year.
It's funny you mentioned it too, because the NFL was talking about having teams be seeded based upon win percentage, just in case, with everything with COVID. And I was like, really, what if this is the NFL's sneaky way around to try and make sure that the NFC East is put in its place properly this year, and not given a home game in the playoffs?
Yeah, let's go. So the 6-10 Dallas Cowboys win the division. It definitely, I'm going to tell you, this will be a game for them to kind of turn it around, because there's no reason for them to lose this game.
Yeah,
there's zero reason for them to lose this game. They should win comfortably. Zeke will be a huge vocal point, as is being said in the comments. So if you have Zeke and you're not starting him because, I don't know, you're on crack or something, you start him. I don't know why you're not. This isn't the Seattle crackheads,
fitting it in.
Yeah, I'm always fitting it in.
That's what she said.
Anyways, I'm killing you, aren't I, with all these references? I know I am.
You are. I'm loving it, though.
You're loving it.
All right, but looking at our next game, we have our Sunday night game, which is going to be the 1-3 Minnesota Vikings traveling out to CenturyLink Field to take on the 4-0 Seattle Seahawks, who are looking like the team to beat in the NFC right now. And looking at this matchup, Minnesota looking very, very weak out the gate, having dropped some games that they probably shouldn't have. But hey, this is what happens when you have Kirk Cousins at quarterback. But you look at Seattle and just how complete they are as an offense, as a defense. And I'm so happy that I drafted DK Metcalf in my fantasy league. and I am just ecstatic about it. I'm just so ecstatic about it. But Seattle, though, is going to be able to beat down Minnesota and show why they're still the cream of the crop. Ooh, yeah, in the NFC and move to 5-0.
I like that. Love that wrestling reference. Cream of the crop, definitely. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Seattle goes to 5-0. Seattle, Kansas City. Those are, I mean, you could call it right now if you wanted to. KC versus Seattle in the Super Bowl. That's what I see going on right now. There's no other teams that can stop these two. Russell Wilson for MVP. Boom, chalk it up. Let's go. Seattle definitely wins this. Russell Wilson's playing on a different level. He's dynamic. He's fast. He's quick with his decisions, and he's playing smart.
Yeah, he really is.
He's not making many mistakes. So that's what it comes down to. Seattle wins it handily. Now let's go into our COVID games, because that's what we got going on now. We got Monday Night Football, Denver Broncos at the New England Patriots. What a game that's going to be, and you're going to have to wait until next week because it's been postponed.
You gotta love it, man. Like Melvin Gordon said, we practice all week to have a game canceled. So, hey, it's not canceled. It's just next week, but it's okay. Get another weekend. You'll be all right. Welcome to the bye week. But
exactly.
It's going to be
the bye week.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, though, because you're looking at Denver who's still trying to, find their way a little bit. And they've been, finding some kind of way, I guess. But they're going to play New England next week, and it's going to be crazy. But we're going to touch on that because they're not going to do that until next Sunday, post episode 76. So we're going to touch on that one next week. But our actual Monday night game that we're looking at is going to be the LA Chargers at 1-3, traveling to the 2-2 New Orleans Saints at Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. And the Saints are trying to right the ship right now. They're not looking all that great. What do you think, George?
This is a passing of the torch game. Drew Brees will be retiring in a few years. He's trying to play because he still can play, and he's still good. Don't get me wrong. But Justin Herbert is the next Drew Brees. That kid has something to prove. He's not there yet. Don't get me wrong. He's not there yet. But he has a Drew Brees kind of cannon. All right? He's got a phenomenal arm on him. He's picking his spots. He's slinging it out there. And I like the LA Chargers in this game because you know what? It's a passing of the torch. He's going up against probably one of his idols when you're looking across the field. Basically, it could be his dad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. It could be his dad. Justin Herbert's looking across the field going, hey, Dad, next time try to call me during my birthday.
See you at dinner.
See you at dinner. And he's going to use that as that motivation. He's playing against one of the best quarterbacks ever in the NFL, and he's going to really step up his game.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to agree that he's going to be able to step up and be able to try and make some things happen. However, one thing that people are missing, I don't think it's been confirmed yet. Michael Thomas is still questionable for this game. So that's something to keep in mind going into this. I know a lot of teams kind of are waiting to the last second to decide if they're actually going to play or not. So he's still questionable as of right now that I just checked. Yep, still questionable. So we'll see what happens. If Michael Thomas plays, though, that could be a huge game changer for this team because right now New Orleans has kind of been going without a super deep threat like they've had because Michael Thomas, come on now, that guy, that is a deep threat. So
he is a beast. If he plays, it's definitely a game changer. But if he doesn't, it'll be the Alvin Kamara show and the Justin Herbert show. Start those two guys on your fantasy.
And I got Kamara. But I have to agree that Justin Herbert really is kind of like a Drew Brees, and he's going to maturate into a wonderful quarterback one day, but he's still going to have to learn for the time being. And one thing the Saints have that's going to give him fits is that defense. So I have the Saints taking this. I think the Chargers will keep it very close, but I think the Saints will end up taking this one close.
Bolts up. I got the Chargers. Now we move on to something unprecedented right now. We're talking about Tuesday Night Football. Do you think Carrie Underwood will do the intro too for this one? Do you think it's possible?
Oh,
did she maybe pre-record and do one for every week? Are you ready for some Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night? Because we take all the weeks. We got the Buffalo Bills at 4-0 facing the Tennessee Titans at 3-0. This would be a game of the week if it wasn't for the fact that Tennessee has not been able to practice. has been banned from their facilities, has even had a secret squirrely squirrel hideout practice that nobody told anybody
at a local
about
high school.
at a local high school, because they were, and you know what, man, I feel bad for Tennessee, because this would be a defining game for them.
Absolutely.
If they can't practice, guys, NFL, postpone it.
Make it that easy,
it's
guys.
It's COVID year. Somebody is going to end up with multiple bye weeks.
Mm-hmm. Just how it's going to work.
It's going to happen based on what you've presented us. Instead of a little bit more secure bubbles, hey, this is what's going to happen. And when there's a super spreader kind of event, nip it in the butt. Get it going. Come on. So unfortunately, Buffalo Bills take this one very easily. They haven't had to deal with not practicing. They're going to be prepared. Two really good coaching teams. Buffalo runs over Tennessee because Tennessee's not ready.
Man, I don't know. Looking at this, Tennessee definitely has not been able to get the practice time whatsoever. But Tennessee is still dealing with a lot of COVID issues. And I even have my guys blowing up our fantasy chat right now saying, oh my gosh, they could still postpone this game. And yes, that actually is still a possibility. This game still could not happen. But if it does, I have to agree. Tennessee just flat out has not had the practice time. And we're seeing in college how much that is affecting teams, especially Notre Dame. My Notre Dame Fighting Irish came out looking sloppy as hell yesterday. And it's because they haven't played in 3 weeks. They have only practiced for 1 week in the past 3 weeks. So Tennessee, I'm sure, is going through a very similar issue, except it's probably even worse because of how much the NFL is hammering down on these teams. But Buffalo is going to be able to take advantage of that. They're going to be able to go in, play their great brand of defense, and show why Josh Allen is the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, and keep just tossing it up to Stephon Diggs. And they're going to take this game, and they're going to knock Tennessee from their pedestal. Calling it now.
Definitely. Now, I'm going to, as the floating couch dad's head that you see right here, is going to take a quick moment. And we would like to thank the Jacksonville Saints Australian Football Club and give a shout out to our sponsor of Final Score. Make sure to check out the Saints on Facebook at facebook.com/JacksSaintsUSAFL for the latest news, practice times, and game info. And don't forget to hit the like and follow button while you're there. You can also contact them directly by emailing the team at JacksonvilleSaintsUSAFL@gmail.com for more information. Phenomenal ad right there.
Oh, yeah, definitely good stuff. You sound so good saying that. We might have to keep you around a little bit. But
I like
switching over to our next subject, though. The NBA Finals are still going, and it's been absolutely insane. The Heat forced Game 6 by taking down the Lakers 111-108 late. And I tell you what, it really could have went either way. I don't know if you got to catch the end of this game, George, but it was absolutely insane. And just seeing how these guys came out and played. LeBron James and Jimmy Butler tore down the house. Jimmy Butler had a triple-double. It was just insane. What do you think?
Oh, man, are you kidding me? It was crazy. Miami, you know what we're doing right now? COVID, no COVID, it doesn't matter. The only thing protecting our face are pots and pans because everybody is out there banging the hell out of them because we are so excited for our Miami Heat that are just absolutely killing it in this series. And I say that even though they're down 3-2 because you know what? The Lakers are far more talented with LeBron and AD. We are not at that level yet. Our talent is still a few years off from that kind of level because they're young with Tyler Hero and with Bam. And so they're not as talented yet because they don't have that experience. The Lakers should be destroying us. But you know what? They're not going to win this 17th championship easily.
No, definitely
that is definitely because of Spo. That is definitely because of the head coaching of the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler. And watching Jimmy Butler, of all players, not Kevin Durant, not Stephon Curry, not Kyrie Irving, not James Harden, Jimmy Butler trading baskets with LeBron James.
And it's absolutely
that tells
amazing.
You something about Jimmy Buckets, man. That was a phenomenal thing to see. LeBron come down, hit a triple. Jimmy Butler come back, hit a triple. Hit a fadeaway, come back, hit another one. Sure, LeBron is fouling every time he drives the lane because he hooks that 6'7" arm around Jace Crowder, but that's not a foul. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's whatever.
The Heat are battling Laker adversity. They're battling LeBron adversity.
Mm-hmm.
They're battling the entire LeBron team where, his production team actually produces the segments after the show, making sure that he's in it more than AD and more than anybody else. But I'm excited for Game 6. I'm excited for Game 6. The Heat will not go quietly. AD will have to step up. LeBron, he had a phenomenal game last game, and they didn't win.
Yeah, it's absolutely
What does
insane.
that tell you?
It's
you
insane.
Can't do it by yourself, man. You can't do it by yourself. You have to have other game breakers. AD did that in Game 4. Will he do it in Game 6? I don't know.
Well, that's another thing, too. AD really took over in games 1, 2, and 4. And that's one thing is that Anthony Davis has kind of been sliding a little. Like, you look at Anthony Davis, he's not as big of an influence. Like in this last game, it was 28 points, 3 assists, 12 rebounds. Not a bad stat line, but when you're looking at Jimmy Butler having 35 points, 11 assists, and 12 rebounds, that doesn't balance out right. And you got LeBron James who's trying to play out of his mind. 40 points, led all players in this game. It's just crazy. But one thing I noticed about Jimmy Butler is that he definitely has a chip on his shoulder. He did not even look happy at the end of that game after they got that win and said he just like, oh, I just left it all out on the court. And it's like, dude, you look pissed. Like, you want this bad. And I think that's something that the Lakers are going to have to keep in mind going forward for this next game. Obviously, this is another elimination game with Game 6 taking place tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I believe it's on ESPN, but it's going to be a hell of a game. If some reason the Heat are able to force this, though, Game 7 will take place this Tuesday, and that's it.
One way or another, next week we have a new NBA champion.
Yes.
So definitely that's happening. It's going to be a hell of a matchup tonight. If the Lakers want it, it's going to have to be in AD's hands, man.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. And we'll see if AD, should he even be playing tonight? There's been that thrown around. He did punch Jay Crowder while getting up. And they showed it compared to Draymond Green's so-called crotch shot with LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Draymond was suspended for a game.
Yeah. So that definitely could come to play into this entire thing.
That could. I don't see it coming into play because the NBA Mafia, the Lakers are royalty. And Draymond, the NBA Mafia. Lakers are royalty. They're not going to say anything. LeBron James is royalty. He's got stake in the NBA himself, I'm sure. He's probably 55% owner.
At this point?
At this point.
Oh, man.
Draymond Green got ejected because that happened to LeBron.
Yes. But the other way
This is
around.
Other way around. So the hypocrisy there is real. I'm sorry. And you know what? I'm a huge fan, so I'm going to say it.
You are that guy. But at the end of the day, we'll definitely see how a lot of this will shake out tonight. Again, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Definitely check it out. Game 6. Sure to be exciting as all can be. But you know what else is exciting? Is that we have great support from sponsors like Jacksonville Rugby, the Jacksonville Rugby Football Club, and Jacksonville Wolverines Youth Rugby, both great sponsors of the show. And we're going to take this time to thank both of them for being great sponsors of Final Score. You can find the Jacksonville Rugby Football Club, oh my goodness, I lost all myself, on Facebook at facebook.com/JaxRFC. That's /JAX RFC, or on their website at jaxrugby.org. And you can also find the Jacksonville Wolverines Youth Rugby team on Facebook at facebook.com/Jacksonville Youth Rugby. Great supporters of the show, and we definitely wish them luck, as I know they are all trying to get back to play as well. A lot of crazy stuff going on. But we're going to switch gears now to the MLB playoffs. We are through the divisional round and are now moving on to our ALCS and NLCS respectively. And the divisional round was crazy, but I have a feeling that these championship series are going to be really wild.
Oh, definitely. We're looking at the Tampa Bay Rays versus the Houston Astros. Wait, what? The Houston Astros made it?
They're still playing? Why?
They're still playing? Like, is that possible? Did somebody hit a trash can?
Someone must have, because
Somebody
it's
must
happening.
have, because not only are they playing the Tampa Bay Rays, they don't have to deal with Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge from the Yankees. So I think somebody else hit a trash can, because there's no reason why Tampa Bay should move forward. I don't know how they pulled that off. That is definitely an upset in my eyes, but they're riding a big wave right now.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're going to see is the Houston Astros advance.
Ooh.
And tell everybody, we don't need no stinking trash cans. We are going to do this ourselves.
Well, too bad they already used those trash cans, and this is where they are still. At the end of the day, though, the Rays are favored to win this by 63.3%. So we'll see how it works out. And this whole series will be played in San Diego, California, because MLB got smart and we bubbled for playoffs. So game one.
That's right.
Yes, game one of the ALCS you can catch tonight at 7:30 p.m. on TBS. Definitely make sure to check it out. And you're going to have to do a little bit of flipping between this and game 6 of the NBA Finals. But, hey, it's going to be a hell of a game. Honestly, though, the Rays, they're for real. A lot of people have been counting them out just because their recent history was garbage. But Houston, God, I just want to see Houston lose. I'm not even going to lie on this one. There's bias all over it. Houston needs to lose. Tampa, please sweep them 4-0. And let's just take this to the World Series. Gosh, can't stand
No
Houston.
way. You know what? I am going to be that bug up everyone's ass. And Houston wins this one and says,
Oh,
whether we cheat or not, it don't matter. They're just that good. They're absolutely going to – they're all going to start donning the lie, cheat, steal like Eddie Guerrero shirts all over the place. And they're just going to – the Latino heat in Houston is going to be fire.
ole.
I am calling it. I like Houston in this because of all that adversity. Tampa Bay is for real, though. I give them credit where credit's due. They slayed the beast of the New York Yankees, which I always love to see.
Yeah.
Always love to see, because then I can't say it. I can't say that the MLB is also a mafia. I actually can't say it. I can't say that it's rigged.
Yeah, I can't say it's rigged now. Yankees ain't there.
I can't say it's rigged right now.
Well, I don't know. Houston's there.
Houston's there, but it's not rigged. Tampa Bay is there.
Oh my
The Dodgers are there on the West. Slightly rigged? Nah, maybe.
Could be.
But the Yankees aren't. So it's, quasi rigged.
Well, speaking of those Dodgers, we do have the Dodgers taking on the Atlanta Braves in the NLCS. And this is going to be very interesting. Dodgers are favored by 73.3% to win the NLCS. And it's going to be very interesting. Braves have been battling with Acuna Jr. and this great roster they've built over the past few years to try and get back to prominence, to try and get back to this point. While the Dodgers are really just trying to actually win a World Series title and not get screwed by Houston or Boston. So, it's it's crazy to see how this comes to be. But however, the Dodgers still got to make it through Atlanta. Atlanta is not going to make things easy. This entire series, though, will be played also in Arlington, Texas, because thanks, MLB, for that bubble. But game one will be Monday, October 12th, which is tomorrow, 8 p.m. on Fox. Definitely make sure to check it out. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to call the Braves taking this one, though. I'm calling the upset, and it's going to take all 7 games. Sorry, Dodgers. You're going to cry with or without fans. Sorry. What do you think, George?
I am going to say 2020 is a year that we should all try to forget, except forget that the LA Dodgers are going to beat the Braves. They're going to face Houston, and then they're going to put them all in the trash can, and the Dodgers will get their revenge. That's what I'm calling right now. We need some sort of a revenge story. We need some sort of a comeback story this year, and that is what I am saying is going to happen. The Braves are a solid team, but they had to play the Marlins. They shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Hey, now, the Marlins were the feel-good story.
They were a feel-good story. They beat the Cubs. What the frickin' do? Lottie frickin' da. The Braves did not have a test. at all. The Dodgers have been tested these playoffs. They know how to win those close games. They know how to punch in runners in scoring position, and that's what it's going to matter. Dodgers win this series. They will see Houston and get their revenge in the World Series.
Absolutely. That's a bold prediction there, Cotton, but we'll see how it works out for you. But you know what else works out real great for us?
New shorts.
Oh my gosh.
Cotton needs new shorts.
Cotton needs new shorts. But you know what else? You know what else might need new shorts? Because you know you're going to love this one. All these fans, because they're going to check out all the great content platforms that we're on. Where can they find us, George?
Oh, man, are you kidding me? If you need new shorts, this is the place to go. The hottest new clubs are for audio are Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Podcasts. And on video, you see our ugly mugs and my digital mug on YouTube. All you have to do is search keyword Final Score. Just one word. Just Final Score. That's all you got to do.
That's right. And definitely check us out. Give us a like. Give us a follow. All that good stuff. Because without you guys, we don't have a show. So please do so. But we're going to go ahead and switch gears now over to college football. And it was a wild week of college football with a lot, again, of upsets happening. It seems like every week now we have at least 2 or 3 upsets, and it's been insane. LSU being upset by Missouri on a goal line stand. Missouri has a goal line stand. I didn't know Missouri knew how to play defense. And they take that one 45-41. You end up seeing, oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
Hello? Texas A&M.
Yes,
Texas
the big
A&M.
one. Taking down number 4 Florida.
Taking down number 4 Florida. It was sadness throughout the DeMoya household when that kick went up, because we got multiple members, proud members of the University of Florida throughout my family. They were not happy. The whiskey and the wine started early because of that damn field goal. But we see it happening. We're seeing, teams coming out of nowhere with these huge upsets, and there's nothing else to say but hello, 2020.
Yeah, exactly. Alabama even had to survive another scare from Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin led Ole Miss, and I don't know, there was some crazy play calling late in that game from Ole Miss, so that was probably their own fault. But it took 63 points from Alabama to put Ole Miss away. It was not a blowout. So it's crazy. Clemson, though, rolled 42-17 against Miami. I know a lot of people are sad about that. I was hoping Miami was going to be a little bit more competitive in that. But De'Aaron King was only able to do so much. So that's something to keep in mind.
I was not. I was really thrilled to see that happen. I was so excited to see Clemson just say, oh, hi, swag. Yeah, no, you're not ready yet.
Oh,
sorry.
My goodness. And of course,
every year it's like deja vu, man. The U is back to the drawing board.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop saying the U is back until you beat a top 5 team.
Exactly.
When you beat a top 5 team, say it all you want.
Yeah, exactly.
So then I don't want to hear it.
And that's the one thing, too, is I feel like Miami every year, like they always say, oh, Notre Dame's overrated. At least we can go out and beat teams. Miami hasn't beaten a ranked team in who knows how long. And what's crazy to me is that they act like Miami is like some great pariah. Oh, they're number 7. They're back. The U is back. The U hasn't been around since like 2002. Let's be honest here, okay? Miami has been hurting for a long time. And Travis Etienne made you guys look silly. 17 carries, 149 yards. Let me English today, and 2 touchdowns. And Trevor Lawrence still being Trevor Lawrence, almost 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Come on. You guys didn't stand a chance.
He was absolute. I mean, Trevor Lawrence just sitting there and going, say, hey, yeah, thank you very much. Which New York apartment am I buying next year?
Yeah.
Because I am going number 1 overall, and you can ship Daniel Jones or you can ship Sam Darnold, because that's where I'm headed. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence has just proven that he is a top-notch quarterback, and it's going to be crazy. I don't know what the hell is going to happen with the college playoff. Every week something has changed. Out of nowhere, the University of North Carolina had a huge win at number 8 over Virginia Tech, 56-45. They're climbing the rankings now because University of Miami, but they lost. Florida, but they lost. So where's the Tar Heels are going to end up in the 4 seed all of a sudden? I mean, is Michael Jordan playing for them? Come on.
Let's not forget, though, that North Carolina still has to go through a number of teams, including, if I'm not mistaken, that date with Clemson. Because remember, everything is thrown up in the mix. Oh, sorry, they're not playing Clemson this year. They still got to play Notre Dame, though. Sorry, I meant Notre Dame, not Clemson. But they still got to play Notre Dame, which is going to be one of the biggest tests they have left on their schedule. Because Notre Dame went out, and they didn't look amazing, but they put Florida State away 42-26. They didn't cover the line, but honestly, I think FSU finally found a quarterback. Jordan Travis getting his first start actually did not look bad. However, one thing Notre Dame has that a lot of teams are seemingly forget that we have, and that is a stable of truly amazing NFL caliber running backs, led by Kyron Williams, who ended up having 19 carries, 185 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he had huge runs, a 65-yard touchdown run, a 40-plus yard touchdown run. And oh yeah, they also have another one in Chris Tyree, who that guy, oh my gosh, that guy can run just as good as Kyron can. So Notre Dame, another team to watch out for in the ACC.
Definitely Notre Dame is a team to watch out for. Georgia is a big team to watch out for in the SEC. And we still got to talk about Ohio State and Penn State that have not played a game yet.
Yep, very true.
What's going to happen with them? What's going to happen between the 8-game schedule and the 12-game schedule, or whatever the heck it is? Like, when is that going to start coming into play?
Mm-hmm. And how do you rank teams like this? Like, really?
I'm not sure. It's going to be basically, I think, college football hired the worst, NHL, analysts. And what do you call them? Like the Moneyball guys. They got a bunch of Moneyball guys together from Yale and from Stanford and from Harvard. And they said, we're going to put you in a room. We're going to feed you some Chinese food. And you're going to figure out how to get us to top 4 teams at the end of this. You're here for 5 months.
But we are going to talk about one more game that took place that also ended in an upset. Number 22, Texas, ended up losing in quadruple overtime to Oklahoma, 53-45. Absolutely crazy game.
Insane game. That definitely was a what the hell is going on kind of game. Quadruple overtime. This isn't hockey.
You ain't lying. And both teams had shots to win this game too. Both kickers missing kicks, including Oklahoma's, who did not miss a single kick all of last season, has already missed 2 this year, including a possible game winner in this game earlier on. So it's crazy to see what's been happening in the Big 12. It's like the SEC. They're just kind of like killing each other off right now. But
yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, especially once we get to next week. Next week's going to promise to have a slew of crazy games, including, well, nothing too crazy. Miami has to play Pitt, and Auburn got to play South Carolina, Notre Dame and Louisville. But the big matchup people are going to be looking at is going to be Florida and how they bounce back against LSU. Both teams needing a bounce back. And, of course, you had the Florida head coach calling for full attendance at this game from the university presidents and chancellors. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't see them trying to pack 90,000 people into Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
I mean, I don't know what that is. Right now, I think he's just upset about the loss. And you know what? College football, when it comes to the fans, they make a difference. And that's what it comes down to. They really do make a difference in the stadium. And they, just their concept of packing the stadium and making noise, it matters. Not to mention that next week, not to mention also next week, huge game, Alabama, Georgia. That's the big one right there. Let's see who really is going to go up against Clemson.
Exactly. It's going to be amazing when you look at it, because number 2 versus number 3 going on in Tuscaloosa. It's going to be really not only what sets the stage for the SEC, but also sets the stage possibly for the Final Four that are going to make the college football playoff. So this is a huge game. And what I love about it more than anything is that Notre Dame has positioned themselves right behind all this massacre to be able to move up, because when the rankings come out, presumably Notre Dame will be number 4. You'll still have Georgia at 3, Bama at 2, and Clemson at 1. So it's going to be crazy, but the whole top 4 will change dramatically because of the one simple fact that all these teams got to play each other. Obviously, we get Georgia, Bama this upcoming week. You're going to have Notre Dame, Clemson later in the season, and you might have Notre Dame, Clemson again for the ACC title game. So a lot of craziness happening in college football, and we'll definitely keep you guys
never know what's going to happen week to week. Never know what's going to happen week to week. You can't even put anything in the outline. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
just a big spinning wheel. Just what the hell's gonna happen this week?
Yeah, literally in our outline, it just says Week 6 recap. It has a scoreboard link because we have no idea. It's so insane. But you know what else is insane? Podcast City Network and all the great things that they offer. You know, you always call me the Segway King, so I'm trying to keep it going for you, bud. But Final Score is a proud member of Podcast City Network, which you can find us at podcastcity.net/FinalScore. And PCN is home for all up-and-coming independent podcasts. You can follow them on social media, on Facebook at facebook.com/Podcast City Network, on Twitter at Podcast City Net, on YouTube by searching Podcast City Network, on Instagram now at Podcast City Net, Podcast City Net. I can't English today, and on our website at podcastcity.net. So definitely check them out. And if you have your own podcast or have been looking to start your own, you can also join Podcast City Network because they offer an array of membership services, including logo design and branding, social media advertising, live podcast hosting, and much, much more. You also gain access to our network of shows to help with cross-promotion, guests, and overall reach, while also becoming a part of our ever-expanding PCN community based on people helping people. And the best part is, no membership fee. So what are you waiting for? Go to podcastcity.net/join now and join the fastest growing independent podcast network around, Podcast City Network. Woo! If I could just keep on Englishing today, we could do this. Yep, just like we're going to do the good old give or go. And we're going to kick off right off the top about something we mentioned earlier, that Bill O'Brien, the head coach for the Houston Texans, has been fired. Give or go.
You're fired.
You're fired.
I'm going to say go because you are gone, Bill O'Brien. Goodbye. We talked about it earlier. Complete cancer in the locker room, that coach. See you later. If you have the song, cue it up. Nah, goodbye.
Man, I should have had that queued up for this week.
You go over here and I go over here. That's where he is going. He's out of here. He needed to go, man. He needed to go. Too much talent on that roster for them to be 0-4. Bye.
Absolutely. His time is up. And he needs to move on and get out of here. So the only thing I have for Bill O'Brien is, because that's what your time in Houston was like. Even though you say you want to coach, I don't think anybody's going to want you. And if you get hired, all of the fans are going to do is just... So you might as well retire now and just get out of here. In our next give or go, though, we have an NFL memo that was sent out that states penalties will be authorized if coaches and others without mask talk to officials. Give or go.
I'm going to go ahead and just give on this one. Like, what the heck are you, like, what do you think of this? This is weird as hell.
I mean, I know they're very serious about the COVID pandemic and wanting to make sure people are masked up, but going as far as throwing penalty flags for it, like, come on, I can barely keep my kids' masks on, let alone, you know, making sure players and coaches are too. And you got to remember, we're in real life game situations and things need to be communicated. One thing I remember seeing in a lot of these college games is that coaches, not everybody can hear you through a mask, so a lot of them were pulling it down real quick to yell at the players and then throwing it back up. So is that something we're going to have an issue with in the NFL? I don't know, but I think this might be a little too far right now.
I think right now they need to stop grasping at straws with this whole COVID thing and focus on the bigger picture of what we were talking about in terms of staff, in terms of fans, in terms of keeping their bubbles safer than worrying about the damn masks, pulling them down, pulling them up to talk to the refs.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're a little bit bigger fish to fry, so to speak. But I will be doing is purchasing some penalty flags and throwing them around my house if my kids don't take them off, just for fun, because I think that's hysterical.
It absolutely is. But we'll definitely see how this works out going forward. And with all the COVID issues we've already been having, I'm sure that we're going to see some penalties this week. So keep your eyes glued when these games kick off at 1 o'clock. Our next give or go, though, the Los Angeles Rams quarterback Jalen Ramsey was fined over $15,000 by the NFL for his post-game fight with Giants wide receiver Golden Tate. Give or go.
Chump change for Jalen Ramsey, man. Oh, okay. That's a weird number. 15,625. Yeah, okay, sure. Here you go. That's like the Young Bucks throwing a stack of money at Tony Khan on AEW just because they kicked a ref. I mean, come on, man. It is so staged. It's the NFL trying to say, hey, we're still trying to enforce some rules around here. So let's make sure we find him. That guy
over there.
Yeah, fine AD the same thing for punching Jay Crowder too. Okay. But come on, let's go.
And this is all stemming from like their own domestic issues, because if people don't know, Jalen Ramsey done had a baby with Golden Tate's sister. So at the end of the day, this is a family issue that honestly should stay off the field. It should have been dealt with behind closed doors, but
with
some
Judge
people can't
Judy.
be adults.
Exactly.
Yeah, Judge Judy.
Judge Judy should
Jerry Springer. He's a judge now, right?
Is he?
He has a judge show. I don't know, but who knows? But our last give or go, Alex Trebek makes the third overall selection in the NHL 2020 virtual draft. Give or go?
I'm gonna give on this. I'm gonna give you. Did you see this or not? This was hysterical. This was absolutely hysterical. This is the wave of the future. I think all drafts should be done like this, on Jeopardy, on Wheel of Fortune, on Deal or No Deal, on The Weakest Link.
Family Feud, we gotta get Steve Harvey in there.
Family Feud with Steve Harvey, all of it. Why not, man? Let's go. Alex Trebek, what a great moment for that kid, who is actually a German-born player, who is the second highest NFL draft German-born player behind Leon Draisaitl. And Alex Trebek is a huge hockey fan, grew up in Ottawa, also of German descent. So what a fun little moment that was. And it was also the coolest thing I'd seen in terms of sports, with the whole virtual draft thing going on. That whole concept with the NFL and now the NHL doing a virtual draft. I thought that was just a lot of fun. Alex Trebek's a big hockey fan. We all know that.
Oh, yeah.
So really cool moment. Something just to kind of brighten up the day in this 2020 COVID year, that we were able to actually pull something off on Jeopardy. With sport.
That with Alex Trebek, he's had his cancer issues. A lot of his fans and followers of his show know about, and definitely our hats off to him. Being able to find the strength to still do this as he's battling that. But it's really cool. But I think all drafts are going to end up turning to a virtual draft and trying to make it more entertaining than just, hey, let's just stuff 250,000 people here on this street and see what happens. NFL. So we'll see what happens.
And then the NHL continues to break down different barriers. The NHL continues to do things differently.
They're the trendsetter.
And they're the trendsetters. And you know what also is a huge, huge, huge trendsetting? PodChaser. PodChaser is #1 in my book. Your daily source and complete trendsetters for podcast discovery. Apple Podcasts is no longer the only credible place to rate and review podcasts. Follow creators, browse every podcast ever, and rate and review episodes. Podchaser.com, and search for the keyword FinalScore. Be a trendsetter, follow, rate, and review us. Let me know how I'm doing as your new co-host. Do you want me back, or are you going to kick me to the curb like Bill O'Brien? I hope not, but I definitely look forward to coming back for you boys.
No. I think if the fans had to give their overall reaction, I think it would be a good one, similar to this. Just the great work you have done with us here at Final Score. We absolutely love it.
You love me. You really love me.
And you're definitely, I think, challenging me for Segue King, because that was a damn good segue there, sir.
There you go.
But that also brings us to the week ahead. And looking at the week ahead, Double Dime, our newest show, a part of Podcast City Network, will be live tomorrow night before we have the Monday Night Football game. So definitely make sure to keep an eye on their Twitter, @FixedEdge. Definitely check them out, and they'll be making that announcement very, very soon. Great guys over there at S Money and M Squared, bringing you the very latest in sports betting and Forex trading. And then, of course, you can't forget our upcoming event. That's right. That's the Draft Day City Limits Halloween Party taking place at City Limits Tap Room in beautiful D-Land, Florida. We'll be going down on October 30th, which is a Friday, starting at 7 p.m. We're going to kick the day off, or the night off, with karaoke at 7 p.m. We're going to have a live Draft Day podcast at 9 p.m. with S Money and M Squared of Double Dime as our guests. So, yes, if you want to see them get slaughtered on air, we are good at that on draft day. Come check it out. And then, of course, we'll be doing a costume contest sponsored by Steel Fox Firearms with $500 in cash giveaways. That'll be taking place at midnight. So definitely make sure to be there. 2620 North Woodland Boulevard in beautiful D-Land, Florida. And then, of course, next week, episode 70. Where are we at now? 77. My gosh, I'm getting so geriatric, I'm forgetting where we're at. 77 of Final Score will be taking place next Sunday. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm forgetting the numbers. Next Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern on Facebook Live. Definitely make sure to keep your eyes peeled on our social media at PCN Final Score when we make the announcement and post the graphics so you can know some of the stuff we're going to be talking about. And, of course, we will welcome back Jorge DeMoya because he is the man, the myth, the legend that has to replace the man, the myth, and the legend known as Kevin Wathan. And you're doing a great job, sir, I have to say.
Well, thank you, boys. I appreciate it. Thank you to all the Final Score fans. I have had a blast. I look forward to coming back, and you get to see this mug next week. This is just a tease. Right now, you got the animated voice. Next week, you get the animated face.
That's right. You're going to get the whole kit and caboodle, the whole enchilada, the whole 9 yards. And it's going to be a great episode next week on episode 77. But until then, I'm Chris, and that's George. And you guys have just watched Final Score. Y'all have a great night. Podcast City Network.